In this section, we're going to start the baking process. We have our UV mapped object, and we're going to call this duplicate layer. And we can see we selected everything. So we'll just go ahead and remove objects. And everything that is going to be duplicated, meaning are going to share the same UV space on top of each other, we're going to just assign to this layer so we can hide it and easily get it out of the way. So maybe the faces here. We'll go back and grab a UV on every one of these. Just go to face mode. And we'll do mesh extract. And then we'll just grab those extracted meshes. Grab those and we'll just extract these just so we have separate pieces. Okay. See if this will work for us. Okay, so grab all the pieces again that are going to be overlapped and add those to our duplicates layer. So now all the pieces that we have are the pieces that we want baked out. We're not going to have any overlapping UVs, anything like that. So that should be pretty nice for us to bake our stuff out. It should be pretty easy to work with. Got kind of everything nicely lined up here. All three meshes, and we don't have to worry about really combining them. So let's make a new layer, and we'll call this our low poly layer, and we'll call this low poly baking. And then import our, let's go ahead and save that, and then we'll import okay, and just importing that high-res mesh is going to take a minute. And there we go. This is the biggest mesh, so every other mesh shouldn't take as long as this one should to import, which would be fantastic. Okay. High poly baking. We'll just add that to our high poly baking. Now let's do import, and we'll grab the other pieces here. Grab the retopoed lock. Okay, and let's go ahead and just go to object mode. These are all separate pieces, so let's delete those. And let's grab these, and we'll just combine these and then assign those to the high poly baking layer. So now we've got all our high polys on one layer. We've got our low polys on one layer, which is great. Go ahead and save scene. Because we added all those millions of polygons, the saving process will even take a little bit longer. So now with everything visible, let's go ahead and grab the straps. I said the straps. Just the straps. There we go. And let's move these off to the left. And let's grab the lock. I meant just the lock, not the... Okay. There we go. So we're going to grab the lock. Sometimes you're at the mercy of the programs, so not much you can do here. We just go ahead and hide our high poly. Like we did with our test bake, we'll go to our rendering pull down, go to lighting and shading, go to transfer maps, and since we have those objects selected, they're going to be selected under the target meshes. So that's great. We can turn on our envelopes and sort of see our envelopes. You can see the envelope. We can click on both so we see the envelope and the mesh. You can kind of see how everything's working here. It's coming out good. Okay. We can just make sure, we want to make sure our search depth is, our search envelope is kind of expanded a decent amount. Okay, and then let's pull down our source meshes tab, turn on our poly layer, and select all objects and add selected. So now everything is ready to be baked out. Now we just need to make sure we have the correct meshes selected. Oh, and you want to make sure that your envelopes are engulfing the whole high res as well, so you want to adjust that. We'll tell this where to save out our texture maps to. So where should we save this normal map out to, and what file format? So it'll be a targa. We'll call this chest_n. Save. Yes, we want to replace it. And let's go ahead and click on an ambient occlusion map here. Do the same thing. Where do you want it to save to? I recommend doing a test bake. Again, even with these settings, doing a test bake. Setting the occlusion rays, when you I would do a test and then set the occlusion rays to 256, up them, set your map height and width to double your texture size, and set your sampling quality to as high as you can go, and you can adjust your fill texture seam to 1 or 2, something like that. And then you want to make sure you use mental ray settings. Common settings is off. If you want to use mental ray, then you can go ahead and click it on. We're not going to talk about that though in this tutorial. So set your map width and height to 2048 for your ambient occlusion map closest to envelope for baking. And click bake. Again, I don't usually do bake and close because I don't want it to close. I want to do a bake, and if it's not working out, then I want to be able to go in and check it back and go back in and make sure everything's kind of working. Okay. Obviously taking a minute. It's just the whole process. You can see 1, 2. The nice thing about Maya is it gives you a little progress bar in the bottom left and lets you know how excruciating slow this process is going or how blazing fast this thing is going. So let's go ahead and jump ahead a little bit, and we'll look at the fade out, and then ding, look at baked out. Magic. It's the magic of video.